Hey everyone, sorry I couldn't be there today. I really wanted to come to see Pep Talks event. Khumoyun invited me. Unfortunately, I'm teaching right now, otherwise I would be there like a shot. I first heard about Pep Talks when Khumoyun did that incredible TED Talk at SolBridge last November. I first met Khumoyun in a very interesting time when I was auditioning to do the TED Talk. He was auditioning, there was a CEO auditioning, and 2 more professors. Khumoyun was the only one auditioning on that day who was a student, only 18 years old. I was incredibly astonished and impressed that at that age he already had the courage to go and audition to do a TED Talk. So that just blew me away, and then as I saw his gradual improvement from the auditions over the rehearsals and then going onto that stage on November 23 with what it looked like no fear and going out there and showing all his personality and sharing these incredible stories. From that day I was just incredibly impressed by Khumoyun, and so I would love to be there right now. Unfortunately I'm teaching, so that is why I'm not there. How do we overcome the fear of public speaking? This is a question I've asked to hundreds of students now because I've taught public speaking so many times, and I was even in Daegu last weekend talking to Korean English teachers, professors, people who you might expect would be very comfortable with public speaking but still have that pounding heart, that sweaty palm situation anytime they are asked to do a presentation. I think to really conquer the fear of public speaking, first you have to understand why we get scared. So just try to think, well, what is the reason? Why do we get so nervous? We're not going to die. Why is it so scary? I always get my students to think about that. They will say things like, they're worried about making mistakes. They're worried about so many people watching. They are worried about losing their reputation. There might be so many different reasons. I think they are individual reasons, they are subjective, they are different for everybody. But what I do like to tell people is, why does our body react in the way it does? If you see most people, when they have not much experience, they naturally start standing like this, like they are a soldier going into battle. They start trying to hide, they start fidgeting, they start shaking. Why does our body do this? Well, according to my research, if you go back thousands and thousands of years, our body developed a defense mechanism so that when we are nervous, it was when we were facing danger. Maybe a lion was in the area where we were hunting that day. And so naturally we start protecting our bodies. We cover our organs, our heart, our lungs, our liver. We start covering our organs. We're not going to use gestures. We're trying to protect ourselves. We start shaking, we start hiding behind the podium, we start sweating. These are all bodily functions that help us so much if we are in mortal danger. However, when we do a presentation, there's no lion in the audience, there's no shark, there's no tiger ready to leap on us, and so we just have to get used to the idea that sometimes we feel very nervous, but we shouldn't show that so much. It doesn't benefit our message in our presentation. We have to communicate clearly. And so I help my students first understand it, and then we move on to the most important thing. The famous Nike slogan pretty much sums it up. If you want to conquer public speaking, forget going to all these classes where they teach you eye contact, gestures, posture, how to use your voice, how to structure. That is all a waste of time until you start with just do it. There is no substitute for experience. Until you can accept that this is a scary thing to do and you are willing to face it, you're willing to look that fear in the eye, nothing else will improve. The only way to improve is to start. Jump into that presentation, volunteer next time your professor asks somebody to do a presentation. Just overcome that fear, jump into it, dive into the deep end. Realize after the presentation, as I always do, it wasn't the end of the world. Nobody died, the ceiling was not caving in that day. and you realize, wait a second, if I can do one presentation, I can do two presentations. And naturally you start thinking about how to improve. You use self-reflection, use your own mind, your own analysis to understand how can I improve next time. When I first did presentations, they weren't too bad. I had eye contact, I had some gestures, but are they as good as they are now? No, because I used the PPP approach. What is PPP? Practice, practice, practice. Forget everything else, preparation, production, blah, blah, blah. Practice, practice, practice. Go out there, start working on your presentations, start messing them up, start having good presentations. Doesn't matter as long as you get the experience. Only through experience can you improve. Experience is the best teacher. That is how you become good at public speaking.